Welcome to another installations of the best ship mods of Starfield, and today we finally have probably the most requested mod in all the galaxy finally coming to Xbox. This is a pivotal moment for Starfield in my opinion, as this opens the door for such luxuries the PC players have had for eternity. We have finally been gifted to the Xbox community. Do not miss this mod. Consider liking, subscribing, come along for the journey. Let's get into it. It is finally here, probably the most requested, desired and needed mod for all Xbox players, and that is a mod that is going to increase the amount of ships an Xbox player can have and hold in their inventory. The mod is called Own 150 Ships by Sly Young 28. Bloody legend. It has taken way too long, and I'm so surprised that this was not a mod that came sooner. Now, this particular mod is only available on Xbox as we have many alternatives on PC, but this should allow you to have 150 ships. This is a good sign that these kind of mods aren't being blocked and that in the future we will probably be able to get as many as you could possibly want. But again, there will be some degradation in performance, but 150 ship is plenty. You will have a hard time or a long time trying to fill up your inventory with that many ships, but this means you can finally do it. You can get over 10 bloody ships, and this is such a big and massive win for Xbox. I'm really so pumped to see this because this has been something in the comments and has been annoying people for pretty much the last year since Starfield came out. So there you go, Xbox boys. You finally got it. You finally can get over 10 bloody ships. What a ridiculously low number, but there it is. Tell me what you think in the comments. Are you stoked for this? What are you going to do with all that extra inventory space? You're going to be building, you're going to be getting a ton of the base ships and collect them all. And with the mod that allows you to build space stations, you're going to be able to build quite a few different space stations. It's just, the game's getting absolutely wild. Anyway, so pumped about this. Bloody legend, Sly Young 28, savior of us all. Let me know if you have any issues with this or if it works. I can't exactly test this because it's only on Xbox. This next mod is tiny, silent, and deadly. This is going to be for the absolute elite of shipbuilders that spend all their time talking to ship technicians and get sick of the bloody dialogue. This mod just simply removes it. So if you go talk to any of the ship technicians, you will not get any dialogue anymore. So it completely shuts them all up. Bit of peace and quiet. Now, this might not be for everyone. People might like that dialogue, but I know from experience when you are talking to the ship technicians a lot, killing that audio is kind of a nice little touch, and that is the silence is golden. Now, this next mod is called Mordred's Cheap Register Ship. Now, this is particularly potent little mod, and all it does is significantly reduce costs of registering new ships. But this has a profound effect on the dynamics of the game because what it incentivizes is one of the core aspects that I thought was always missing, was being able to go and be a pirate and collect ships across the galaxy and then make a profit at flipping them. And now you can. So let's go check a ship where we can register it just to get a good idea of how cheap it is now. And here we are. We have the Spacer Hyena 3. Now, if you go to register this, let's see how much it costs. 671 credits. That is absolutely nothing. So love it or hate it, maybe it is a little bit too cheap. A bit more would make it a little bit more balanced, but finally this gives a lot of value in actually spending time raiding ships, collecting gear, and being a proper pilot and just stacking cash. So a really nice little mod, and that is the Cheap Register Ship by Jacob Sod. The next mod we're going to look at is the 200 ship crew slot. Now, imagine when you Xbox players that can now build more than 10 ships are building giant motherships or even maybe a space station. This mod will give you the ability to pretty much have as many crew members as you like. 200 is insane, but I'd love to do a video or see a video where you're on a ship and you have that many crew members. Be like one big party. But on the bigger ships, it will make a lot more sense to have such a higher crew count as long as the performance is stable. But all this does is it changes the structural component for the Tayo ship crew support to equal 200. So let's go check that piece out right now. Now, I won't be able to show you the crew count go up, but this is the component that you would be adding once you've downloaded this mod. Just your sort of equipment plate. It will be titled and named Tayo ship crew support 200. So just putting one of those will give you a crew of 200. This will come in handy a lot later or down the track. The next mod we're going to look at is the ship Colorize. This is a very humble mod, but it has a huge impact on the overall outlook and design of many of the ships because it allows recoloring of so many of the components that were annoyingly restricted to only have 2 colors or no colors, whereas now we can pretty much color nearly every single ship weapon, comm spike, scan jammer, etc. All the different components that you wanted to color, you can, which is huge for the overall look and feel because a lot of the time the weapons, right, would only be able to be this color. You couldn't even color them, whereas now you have the complete control, which is always a bit odd that that was not kind of included. But look at that. Now you can completely color it. So a tiny little mod, but it makes a huge impact. The good thing is you can select multiple of the same weapon type, go into color them both at the same time, allowing for a very quick and speedy process when going through the color process or the paint process of your ship design. And this is Ship Colorize by none other than Derek M17 from Tech. Absolute legend. The next 4 mods we're going to look at, we're going to group together as they all pretty much do the same thing, just on different ship components. And the mods are called Starfield Extended Ship Rebalance, Shield Rebalance, Engine Rebalance, Reactor Rebalanced, and finally more Shielded Cargo Bay Rebalanced. Now these mods will not be for everyone, but they add a nice buff to a lot of the different components that you may wish to be a little bit stronger. In the Starfield Shield Rebalance, all shields get a 400% increase than the vanilla. And this means that all the fights that you encounter throughout the universe are going to last a lot longer. So this might not be something you'd want to do if you're already on very hard, but if you feel like the battles are going way too short, this could be a good way to balance it out and to make it a little bit more entertaining by lasting a lot longer by giving all the shields 400% increase. What I would recommend is that this is probably a mod for very experienced ship fighters, or when you're in your late game and you just find it too easy because you have a really decked out ship, or if you're running lots of modded weapons or modded ships that are just absolutely staunching enemies, this could be a good mod to get just to make it a little bit more balanced if you're using overpowered builds. So the Starfield Extended More Engine Rebalance, so what that will do is add the White Dwarf 3025 engine and the White Dwarf 35 engine. Both of these will give or have the potential to reach a top speed of 180, which is a pretty unique little aspect because now, as you may know, there is only one other engine that has that kind of top speed, which is the 3015 White Dwarf. However, the 3035 has a higher engine thrust, maneuvering thrust, better hull health, and just a better engine overall. So it's kind of like a more advanced version of the 3015. So you kind of have 2 options where you could start off with the 3015 and then progress up. I really like the idea of this because it does give you a lot more optionality to make some nice builds while still applying a strict design of trying to keep a maximum top speed of 180 while balancing weight over design and speed. So a really nice little mod here, and there's more to this mod as well. The other thing this mod does is it adds a mess variations for all the crazy SA and SAE engines, and basically what that's going to translate to is that you can flip these all the different ways possible, just making it so much more versatile when you're building all the different ships with these various SA engines. 7 different ways it can be configured, which is really nice. So it's pretty much going to be switching out between all the different variations. Just a really nice little handy but simple thing that makes building with these engines so much nicer and streamlined. The other really nice touch too, which I really like the idea of, is it's going to lower the max power it takes for all the different engines to 2, with the exception of your White Dwarf 1000, 1010, 1020. But you can see all the other engines will have a max power of 2, which means you can put on a lot more engines than normal for all the different variations, which is a really good encouragement as we lose more and more restrictions in the game. This is a good way to balance it out, where you can still build an even larger ship but maintain kind of a realistic amount of engines to kind of balance it out. This will also have a flow-on effect to the NPC ships, as they will be consuming less power for their ships, allowing them to put more power to their weapons, making them more faster and agile. So basically it sort of balances out ships, but it also buffs the NPCs a bit. So nice little mod. And that was the More Engines Rebalance mod. Just quickly touch on the more shielded cargo bays. This will add shielded cargo bays of all the different vanilla cargo bays. So if we jump into the game now and we go look at all the different various cargo bays, every single different kind will have a shielded alternative. I think this is brilliant and makes a lot of sense. Small but very potent, and great for people looking to still play the pirate and have contraband on your ship. There is a bit of a change to the way the shielded cargo works though. It will have 90% of the capacity of the original, will have 110 the mass, and 5 times the cost of the unshielded version. So it's a really good balance between adding all the various shielded cargo but also making it cost a ton more, carry a bit less, and weigh a bit more. So a good little balance. Following in a similar fashion, we have the Reactor Rebalance. This mod rebalances all the reactors, giving them 50% more power output. So this will also help extend the longevity of fights, also giving more power to the NPCs. This will also mean more weapons are viable. If we go check some of the reactors, you'll be able to see a nice buff to all the various reactors, which could be a really nice change, particularly how we are breaking a lot of different restrictions, or if you need to build a certain way, having a reactor that can push the limits a bit further is going to be a really nice touch. This next mod allows us to build a galactic pawn shop right on our ship. You can place it anywhere within your ship, and what you can do with it is you can access it just like any other terminal but what we can do is we can buy from it various weapons, tons of ammo, which is really handy, a few different armors, and a lot of this will be changed at random, so you won't get the same thing every single time, which is a nice touch because some of these will be nice to kind of collect. But if we go into sell, you can also sell some of our items. So basically it gives you a portable shop right on your ship. Kind of crazy that we can get to this kind of level of flexibility. So buying and selling contraband also can be performed on this. So for instance, let's quickly see if we can sell some contraband. Oh, and here we go, we can indeed. So that is a really cool, nice functionality, bringing all the world store right onto your ship. Next one is huge for Xbox as well. It's called Show Star Names. Many of you have commented and asked for this very same mechanism, but being able to look at your star map with all the different names now is very helpful, much more inviting. All we need now is almost like a little search where we could put in a name, and as we type in the characters, it will bring up a list of the different stars under those characters, and then we should be able to click it and then hopefully go to that location. Let me know what you think about that. I think that'd be a really nice added feature. But now you can actually see the stars as they're named. Very, very helpful. That is by FS Novask. This next mod we're going to cover isn't on Xbox yet, but I do want to bring your attention to it just because it does look very promising. Now, many of you may not know, but there used to be an engine or a mod called Hopetech that was built to kind of reimagine the Firefly ship engines, which were some of my favorite engines back in the day. Now, unfortunately, that mod has gone or has died. The mod has been deleted or is not currently functioning at the moment, and someone else is giving it a crack. And this is the very early stages of it. And the cool thing about these engines is how they take off and land, and I'll show you that just in one moment. But what we have here is we have Mark 1, 2, 3, and 4, all having different thrust and maneuvering thrust, but it gives you a good idea that you can sort of have one for the right sort of build. You can kind of see how it's sort of like one engine wedged in between another, but it actually looks quite awesome. It's like an engine shoved into the landing gear, but it pulls it off quite well. Now we'll just test the takeoff and landing to see if it does perform kind of like the Firefly engine. That's my hope. Okay, so we're going to take off, see how it all looks. Okay, so we've got lift off and then the engines turn. Okay, very, very nice. So a simple mod, but in the very early stages. So I'll be keeping my eye on this, and when it does come to Xbox, we'll cover this again in more detail. Created by the legendary Inquisitor, who I think at the moment has about 49 mods up. So definitely worth checking some of his work out. But what we're going to look at are two really interesting and unique concepts. So we have an EM missile launcher turret, which sounds pretty wild. And then this thing, I really do like the idea of this. So this is basically like a one-shot, insane damage, long recharging weapon. Sits really nicely in with all the sci-fi things where there's a long charge and it fires and it does devastating damage. Well, Inquisitor has got a weapon covered for that, and that's the anti-capital ship. And simply just having one of these will take a full 12 bars, which is nuts. And now with the EM missile launcher turrets, got a few different variations: Class C, Class B, and Class A. So we're going to go with the Class C. This mod is you have the launcher and then you have the turret. So there are the two options there. But we're going to go with the turret this time. We're going to go with the Class C. So this only takes 2 bars, or 2 power, I should say. So you can chuck 6 on. They can only face forward, but they are turrets, so they should be rotating around. Let's give it a crack. Whoa, okay, here we go. Okay, we got a renegade here. Let's give it a crack. Oh, okay, so it did a ton of damage. Nearly took out the whole shield. We got another shot ready. Let's give it a crack. Oh shit, it one-shot that one. Oh damn, very cool. Now we'll see if the EM weapons work. Oh yes, they do. Okay, they're very close range, so you do have to get quite close, but they got a very cool effect. The idea of that is really nice, so you do want to try to get quite close. So they're firing. Really cool effects. So these are some seriously really fun weapons to try. I would definitely give this a try. So we're going to fire one shot. Ooh, the Cannon of Doom. Highly recommend giving these a crack. Excellent work, Inquisitor. And that's going to be it for all the different mods. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.